Headbangers.
Welcome back to the Headbangers podcast. I'm your host Brad. Here today we're joined by Michael from Tranquility.
Hey man.
How you doing to start off with?
I'm good. Happy to be here. It's been forever.
I know, I've been wanting to see you guys for ages. I've loved you guys since the Atoma album because that was when I first got introduced to you. So it's kind of crazy to be able to stand with you actually and just talking to you.
It's great. It's great to be back on the road. It's great to be able to do tours again. And it's fantastic. And so far it's been incredible in this run. It's only been less than a week, but it's fantastic.
Off to a great start.
Oh, it couldn't be better. We started in Stockholm, and man, it's fantastic. We only have like 47 shows to go, but yeah.
Hell yeah. So I want to start off with a little icebreaker. What's your funniest tour story? And don't spare us with the juicy stuff.
Holy shit. We've been touring since 95, so there are a few. No, but I mean, more than anything, I think like just you gotta somehow like kind of enjoy yourself doing stupid shit to each other or to yourselves on tour just to kill time, because there's plenty of just sitting around otherwise,
Yeah.
And of course we get incredibly drunk and stupid and we sometimes forget members, in parks when we leave for another show. We do it's been all kinds of stupid things, but it's part of it,
Have you ever lost someone really far away and you've just not noticed for ages?
Oh, we've done it a few times. Like I've been left behind. We've left behind guys from the band and it's stuff like that. But the fun thing is like every time you meet other bands, everybody starts like sharing stories, and it's a very different kind of. It's basically just fucking kids in a kindergarten running around tour. Like you have your tour manager kind of takes care of you. You don't really have to do much other than be on time.
Yeah.
The rest is just like free play, and it's really stupid sometimes.
Well, it's good to never forget the fun part, right?
Yeah.
How does it feel to finally unleash the songs from Moment to a live audience? I've been personally fucking waiting because I think I was going to see you guys at Bloodstock, and then obviously the lineup just changed completely with COVID and everything. So I'm really glad I get to see you guys play Moment because it's my personal favourite of you guys.
Thank you. Yeah, it's amazing, and of course it was weird, to release the album and not tour. We did this streamed concert, but that was it. And then a year and a half later, we could do our first shows. So of course the song still feels fresh because we haven't played them in a year and a half, but it's still kind of weird to call it a new album, which doesn't feel like it is.
I know, it must be weird for that.
But it's great. I mean, we did a tour in the US prior to this, and that was the first time, and it felt fantastic. And we kept switching up songs, trying to find like perfect set list, that worked. And I think we were getting close.
Yeah. Awesome. I'm really excited. I mean, Moment to me, like I said, it's the best one that you've done in my opinion. It really balances the melodies and the brutality so well. How has it been just like processing that, and what's the non-music inspirations and the musical inspirations that went into it?
I think when we started, we had very kind of simple song ideas, melodies, connections, chords, simple things. And I started writing lyrics for it super early just to see what kind of fit and to get into a mood. And all of that changed during the writing process, which was 7 months or something like that, where we just bounced ideas back and forth, recorded demos. And so inspiration was just like, we took a break from touring so that we can just fully focus on writing. And we were also in Martin's studio where we could write and kind of demo stuff and do pre-production. And there was a lot of things going on. There was a lot of stress about kind of finishing it in time. And there was a lot of kind of anxiety, like how do we get it right this time? We felt like the Atoma was like a big album for us, and we still had ideas, but we wanted it to be different. And of course, then we had Johan and Chris in the band. Like, how do we integrate them, into our music? How do we kind of teach them what we have learned over the years, and how do we work together? So a lot of those things were challenges, but at the same time, really, really interesting and fun to do. And then, of course, COVID hit, and right as we were starting recording, which meant like, okay, what do we do? Do we postpone the album release? Do we postpone the recording? Like, how can we do this? And turned out just looking yourself in the studio for a couple of extra months really helped kind of shape the result of the album, and it gave us a lot of more time to just finally fix everything that we thought was missing, and of course that changed the entire mood as well, so that affected how the songs turned out, and it changed some of the lyrics, and so it became very, very different because of that. Even though the songs were written before.
Well, I'm glad that you guys released it in COVID anyway, because it was like the soundtrack to the first year of COVID for me. So it was nice to have a treat.
It felt like that too, and also I was worried that some of my favorite albums that I was looking forward to were going to be postponed, and I was like, fuck no, I need music more than ever, So we wouldn't want to do that. I think we postponed it a month or something like that, but that was it.
So obviously, it's crazy that you're one of the Swedish death metal founders. I wanted to ask, what's it like, how being in the scene now, so how has it changed since the early days? Like, do you think that it's thriving now as it once was, or do you think it's different now?
It's different, but it's still thriving. There's a lot of really cool bands. Just talking about Gothenburg, the area. I mean, we're a small town, city, but there's tons of great music in all kinds of genres. Obviously there's a lot of death metal bands, but there's a lot of other super cool bands as well, and so it's really happening. I can go out and see live music from local bands 3-4 times a week. Things were very different when we started, obviously, because no one really knew what the hell death metal was, and
I would like to be in those times to see what people thought of it,
It was really, really new, and that was really exciting about it. Now everything is super accessible, everybody knows everything, so it's not as exciting in that respect, but at the same time, availability and being able to record something yourself and then just release it the day after, whatever, is pretty awesome.
I think it's more encouraging to younger artists to get into it, because
for sure.
Back in the day, I suppose you would have to go to a label and just hope for the best, or
we really, of course we didn't know anything, but we were kind of pen pals with a lot of bands all over the world, and we traded tapes and fanzines and that kind of stuff, and I really love thinking back to those days, because it was really, really exciting. But at the same time, everything's better now. I'm not that kind of, it used to be better before. I'm not that kind of guy.
It's still cool though. So you guys have such a unique formula. When you hear that Tranquility, it's you. How long did it take you to decide, this is us? Because even if, with the bands that you started with at the time, you still sounded different.
I don't think we decided at any point, but I think we felt really comfortable as we were writing a second album, The Gallery. It's that's when it kind of clicked, we knew kind of what we wanted. We had recorded an album prior, which was kind of us exploring and seeing what we can kind of pull off and get away with. So with The Gallery, we felt all right, this is actually something we can do. These songs are sounding amazing, and we really love where we were, and that's kind of how we found our style during that really, really long writing and a really intense writing period for that album. Fred Johansson joined on guitar, and I started singing, so we didn't have to have a crappy guitar player anymore, and that really helped. So I think it was then. And then maybe after Projector, when we did Haven or when we did Damage Done, I think we really kind of figured out okay, this is the direction. Now we had tried a lot of things. Projector was obviously very different. Haven was very different, and then we did Damage Done. It was okay, we have experimented a lot. Now we can integrate that into something else, and something that is more akin to our early days maybe, and that made it really cool too. And I think now we have a really nice formula of what we want to do, but at the same time you still want to progress and you want to do new things, you want to try new stuff, but
evolve.
But of course, we have a certain set of types of melodies that we like, types of rhythms that we like, so it doesn't matter how much we try to sound totally different, it still ends up sounding like DT anyway,
Yeah, absolutely. So how do you keep it fresh then after all this time? What's the key?
We do take some time off after touring before we start writing properly. It's really hard to go in too soon, because it will end up sounding the same. We need to kind of find a new perspective, get some more experience, and do other things, and just like be away for it, so that you really are hungry to go back into writing again. And also we change it up, like Martin writes a lot, like Anders used to write a lot, and so we kind of changed it up between members as well, to kind of like kick off an idea, and then we all work on it together to be able to put it together, and so that it becomes very much what the band is about.
Perfect. So music aside, what are your hobbies and interests outside? What do you get to for fun?
Drinking.
Yeah.
Beer making and brewing and video games. Running, obviously. That's what I'm doing today.
I suppose being on tour just allows that anyway, doesn't it?
Yeah. No, but video games is big for me. Like, it's one of my favorite kind of pastimes. Just at the end of the day, when I've been working like crazy, and just relax with it.
It's perfect escapism, isn't it?
It is, and it's also really fucking inspiring. I really kind of get a lot of inspiration from it, just because. So that I kind of miss. I want to go home and
play some Elden Ring or whatever you're playing.
Yeah, well, I'm not that. I don't like to suffer when I want to play, so I haven't touched the From Software games, but everything else, of course. Yeah.
Yes. Last question, just what advice would you give to younger self, and what advice would you give to new musicians starting out?
Younger self, I mean, maybe we should have be more open to receiving help when we were younger. Like, we were very headstrong, and we thought we were going to manage everything and just do everything ourselves, and not having any producers, not a manager, nothing. We're just like, no, this is us. We don't want anyone to interfere with what we're doing. But sometimes that can really help. So maybe I'll change that. But for young bands, I think one thing that sometimes bothers me is that bands tend to release stuff before it's kind of finished.
Just rushing to get it out.
Yeah. Because you need a lot of time in order to kind of figure out your sound and what you're about. So it's better to just keep rehearsing, keep writing, and maybe throw away stuff that is not good enough, instead of releasing everything. So I think and just being in a room together and play until you kind of find that groove, find that sound. That really helps. We don't really do that anymore, but we did it all the time when we started out. We rehearsed for 10 hours straight, like 3-4 times a week, just kind of find it and learn how to play.
That's practicing makes perfect, right?
It is. I mean, it gets you somewhere. So that's important, and dare to be different.
Yeah.
Because it's no fun just copying what other bands are doing.
Absolutely. Yeah, thank you so much, Michael. It's been a pleasure, and I can't wait to see you guys. It's been a long time coming.